The ultimatum. The morning sun cast long shadows across the wheat fields of Kansas when the sky changed forever. Sarah Mitchell was driving to her job at the local observatory when the radio crackled with an emergency broadcast. She pulled over, to the side of the country road, her hands gripping the steering wheel, as the announcer's voice trembled with barely controlled fear. This is not a test. Massive alien vessels have appeared in orbit around Earth. All citizens are advised to remain. Come and await further instructions. Sarah looked up through her windshield and gasped. The sky, once a brilliant blue, now showed dark shapes blocking portions of the sun. Even from the ground, she could see the enormous outlines of ships that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. Each vessel stretched across the horizon like floating cities, their surfaces gleaming with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. In Washington, D.C., President Elena Rodriguez sat in the emergency bunker, beneath the White House, surrounded by military advisors and cabinet members. The Situation Room buzzed with frantic activity as communications poured in from around the globe. Similar ships had appeared over every major population center on Earth. "How many are there?" President Rodriguez asked, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. General Marcus Thompson, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, consulted his tablet with grim efficiency. 67 confirmed vessels, Madam President. Each one appears to be roughly 15 miles in length. Our satellites can't penetrate their hulls, but preliminary scans suggest crew numbers in the hundreds of thousands per ship. The President absorbed this information while screens around the room displayed feeds from major cities worldwide. London, Tokyo, Moscow, Beijing, New Delhi, all showed the same terrifying sight of alien ships hanging motionless in the sky like swords waiting to fall. "What about our military response capabilities?" she asked. General Thompson's expression grew even more serious. "Ma'am, based on the size and apparent technology of these vessels, our conventional forces would be completely outmatched. We're looking at a civilization that's centuries ahead of us technologically." Before the President could respond, every screen in the room flickered and changed to show the same image. A tall reptilian being stood on what appeared to be a command bridge. Its skin was covered in scales that shifted from deep purple to bright gold as it moved. When it spoke, the voice was translated into perfect English, though the underlying tone carried an unmistakable air of superiority. "Inhabitants of the planet you call Earth," the being began, its eyes reflecting an intelligence both ancient and utterly alien. "I am Ambassador Thylex of the Corvani Galactic Empire. Your species has been selected for integration into our domain." The alien paused, allowing its words to sink in before continuing. "You have 48 of your hours to surrender unconditionally. You will disable all military installations. You will prepare your population for relocation to work colonies throughout the Empire. You will transfer all technological and scientific data to our administrators." Thylex's scales shifted to a more aggressive red pattern. "Resistance will result in the complete sterilization of your planet. This is not a negotiation. This is a statement of fact. We have conquered 12,000 worlds using this same protocol. Your compliance is inevitable." The transmission ended, leaving every screen on Earth displaying the same countdown timer. 47 hours, 59 minutes, 58 seconds. 3,000 miles away, Dr. Maya Singh was staring at readings that made no sense. As the head of the Deep Space Monitoring Project at the Arecibo facility in Puerto Rico, she had spent years listening for signs of intelligent life in the universe. Now that it had found them, she was discovering something far more disturbing than the alien ultimatum. Her instruments were detecting massive energy signatures throughout the outer solar system. Objects that shouldn't exist were powering up after decades of dormancy. Automated systems she had never seen before were coming online in the asteroid belt, near Jupiter's moons, and in the dark regions beyond Pluto. "This doesn't make sense," she muttered to herself, cross-referencing the signals with every database she could access. According to official records, there should be nothing in those locations except rocks and ice. Yet her instruments clearly showed artificial constructs generating power levels that rivaled small cities. Her secure phone rang, displaying a number she had never seen before. "Dr. Singh." The voice on the other end was crisp and authoritative. "This is General Harrison from Strategic Command. I need you to come to Cheyenne Mountain immediately. A car is already on its way to pick you up." "General, I don't understand. What's this about?" "Doctor, you've just discovered something that's been classified for over 50 years. If you want to help save humanity, you need to get in that car when it arrives." 2 hours later, Maya found herself in an elevator descending far deeper into Cheyenne Mountain than any public tour had ever shown. General Harrison was a tall, weathered man with silver hair and eyes that held secrets. As the elevator continued its descent, he began to speak. "Dr. Singh, what I'm about to show you will change everything you think you know about human space exploration. In 1969, the same year we landed on the moon, we detected artificial signals from deep space. Not random noise, clearly structured communications between multiple points of origin. The elevator stopped, and the doors opened to reveal a command center that belonged in a science fiction movie. Dozens of technicians worked at stations monitoring displays that showed the entire solar system. In the center of the room, a massive holographic display rotated slowly, showing the positions of objects Maya had never known existed. "Project Shadow Guard," General Harrison explained as they walked through the facility. "A joint operation between every major nation on Earth. We've been preparing for this day for over half a century." Maya stared at the holographic display in amazement. Scattered throughout the solar system were hundreds of objects: space stations, manufacturing facilities, and what appeared to be warships. All of them hidden among asteroids, on the dark sides of moons, or in the cold reaches of space where no one would think to look. "How is this possible?" she asked. "The technology required to build all of this, we don't have it." General Harrison smiled grimly. "We didn't have it 50 years ago, but we've had help. Every piece of debris from every unexplained crash, every technological anomaly we've recovered over the decades. We've studied it, reverse-engineered it, and improved upon it." He gestured to a section of the display showing the asteroid belt. "The Silent Fleet has been under construction for 30 years. Fully automated shipyards powered by fusion reactors we built from designs recovered in 1987. The ships themselves use propulsion systems based on technology we found in the Sahara Desert in 1995. Maya's scientific mind reeled at the implications. "You're saying we've been visited before?" "Not visited, Doctor. Crashed, mechanical failures, navigation errors, accidents. Over the past century, we've recovered enough alien technology to understand that we're not alone, and that someday, someone would come looking for us." The general led her to a viewing station, where she could see detailed schematics of the hidden fleet. The ships were sleek and deadly, incorporating design elements that were clearly not of human origin, yet somehow perfectly suited to human engineering principles. "The Corvani think they're dealing with a primitive species that's never left its home planet," Harrison continued. "They have no idea that we've been building, learning, and preparing. Our ships may be smaller than theirs, but they're faster, more maneuverable, and equipped with weapon systems the Empire has never encountered." As if on cue, the holographic display updated to show new activity throughout the solar system. Hidden facilities were powering up. Ships that had remained dark and silent for years were beginning to move. The asteroid belt, which had appeared empty to casual observation, suddenly showed dozens of heat signatures as camouflaged vessels activated their systems. "Admiral Chen commands the Silent Fleet," General Harrison explained. "She's been officially dead for 8 years, killed in a shuttle accident that never actually happened, along with 3,000 other men and women who gave up their lives on Earth to become humanity's guardians." Maya watched in fascination as the display showed the fleet organizing into formation. Ships emerged from hiding places throughout the solar system, their movements coordinated with precision that spoke of years of training and preparation. "What happens now?" she asked. General Harrison's expression was resolute. "Now we show the Corvani Empire what humanity is really capable of when we're fighting for our survival. They think they know us, but they have no idea what human ingenuity can accomplish when we're pushed to our limits." The countdown timer continued its relentless march toward zero. On Earth, panic spread through major cities as people grappled with the reality of an alien invasion. Government leaders frantically debated their options while military forces prepared for a battle they couldn't hope to win. But in the darkness of space, far from the chaos and fear gripping the planet, something else was stirring. Ships that had never been seen by civilian eyes were taking their positions. Weapon systems built from technologies humanity wasn't supposed to possess were charging their capacitors. And thousands of men and women who had sacrificed everything to protect their species were preparing for the most important battle in human history. The Corvani Empire had made one critical mistake in their assessment of Earth. They had assumed that what they could see was all there was to see. They had no understanding of humanity's greatest strength, the ability to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best, to adapt and overcome any challenge through determination and ingenuity. 46 hours remained until the ultimatum expired, but humanity's real response was already moving through the void, silent and unseen, ready to teach the Empire that some species refused to kneel. The response Admiral Lisa Chen floated in the command center of her flagship, the UES Defiance, watching tactical displays that showed the full scope of humanity's hidden strength. Around her, officers from every nation on Earth worked with quiet efficiency, their movements practiced from years of training in secret. Each person on the bridge had been declared dead in various accidents, their families told they had died, serving their country in classified operations. Lisa had been killed in a helicopter crash 8 years ago, leaving behind a husband and 2 children who still visited her grave every month. The sacrifice never became easier, but as she watched the Corvani ships hanging arrogantly over Earth like executioners' swords, she knew every moment of pain had been worthwhile. "Admiral," reported Commander Sarah Kim from the navigation station, "all fleet elements report ready status. 147 vessels are in position throughout the solar system." Lisa nodded, studying the holographic display that showed her ship scattered among asteroids and hidden in the shadows of moons. The silent fleet was smaller than the Corvani force, but what they lacked in size, they made up for in advanced technology and tactical positioning. Every ship had been built using reverse-engineered alien systems, improved upon by human engineering and adapted for the way humans fought wars. "Communications," Lisa ordered. "Patch me through to all ship commanders." The main screen filled with faces representing humanity's greatest secret. Captain James Park of the Thunder Strike, Commander Maria Santos of the Phantom Wing, Captain David Okafor leading the Stealth Destroyer Squadron. All of them volunteers who had given up everything to become Earth's hidden guardians. "Ladies and gentlemen," Lisa began, her voice carrying the weight of years of preparation, "today we face the moment we've trained for our entire careers. The Corvani Empire believes they're dealing with a helpless, primitive species. They're about to learn what happens when you underestimate human determination." She gestured to the tactical display showing the enemy formation. "The Empire has positioned their ships in a standard occupation pattern over major population centers. They're confident in their superiority, which means they're not expecting resistance. We're going to use that overconfidence against them." The plan was elegant in its simplicity. While Earth's governments continued diplomatic efforts to buy time, the silent fleet would emerge from hiding in coordinated strikes designed to cripple the Corvani command structure. Human ships would use their superior speed and maneuverability to avoid direct confrontation while targeting the Empire's communication networks and command vessels. "Remember," Lisa continued, "our ships may be smaller, but they're faster and more agile than anything the Empire has encountered. Use hit-and-run tactics. Strike hard, then disappear before they can respond. Our goal is not to destroy their entire fleet, but to convince them that Earth is not the easy conquest they expected." On the surface of Earth, the countdown timer showed 18 hours remaining. In government bunkers around the world, leaders continued their frantic negotiations, trying to find some diplomatic solution to an impossible situation. Meanwhile, ordinary people went about their lives with the strange mixture of panic and determination that defined humanity's response to crisis. Dr. Maya Singh remained at Cheyenne Mountain, monitoring the alien ships and coordinating with the hidden fleet. Her instruments had revealed something crucial about the Corvani vessels. They were designed for intimidation rather than combat. The Empire had grown accustomed to species surrendering at the first show of overwhelming force, so their ships prioritized size and impressive appearance over tactical flexibility. Admiral Chen, Maya reported through the secure communication link. I've completed my analysis of the Corvani ships. They have significant blind spots in their sensor coverage, particularly in the aft sections. Their power distribution also shows they're not expecting to maneuver quickly. Lisa smiled grimly as she studied the intelligence data. Thank you, Doctor. This confirms our tactical assessment. They've built ships for conquest, not for battle. 16 hours remained when the first phase of humanity's response began. Throughout, the solar system's silent fleet vessels started their approach toward Earth, using trajectories that kept them hidden behind planets and moons. The ships moved with the coordinated precision of a symphony orchestra, each element playing its part in a plan that had been rehearsed hundreds of times. On the bridge of his flagship, Ambassador Thylex reviewed reports from his fleet commanders with satisfied confidence. The humans were behaving exactly as expected. Their governments were attempting futile negotiations, while their primitive military forces made gestures of defiance that posed no actual threat. Admiral Corex, Thylex addressed his military commander. What is the status of our orbital bombardment preparations? The Corvani military officer, his scales displaying patterns of professional competence, consulted his displays before responding. All weapon systems are charged and ready, Ambassador. We can commence sterilization of major population centers within moments of the deadline expiring. Thylex's scales shifted to a pleased golden hue. Excellent. This species will serve as an example to others who might consider resistance. Sometimes a demonstration of absolute power is necessary to maintain order in the galaxy. Neither alien leader noticed the subtle energy signatures beginning to appear on the edges of their sensors. The silent fleet had spent decades perfecting stealth technology that could fool detection systems far more advanced than anything the Empire typically faced. With 8 hours remaining on the ultimatum, Admiral Chen gave the order that would change everything. All units, this is Admiral Chen. Execute Operation Revelation. Show these invaders what humanity is really capable of. Throughout the solar system, human ships that had remained hidden for years suddenly blazed to life. The silent fleet emerged from asteroid fields like digital ghosts materializing in the physical world. Ships that had been disguised as space debris shed their camouflage to reveal sleek, deadly vessels armed with weapons the Empire had never encountered. The first strike came from the stealth destroyer UES Shadowblade, commanded by Captain Elena Rodriguez. Her ship appeared behind the Corvani flagship without warning, its weapon systems charging with energies derived from alien technology recovered decades earlier. Target their communications array, Rodriguez ordered. Let's see how well they coordinate without their command network. The Shadowblade's plasma cannons unleashed beams of superheated matter that cut through the alien ship's shields like they were made of paper. The Corvani vessel's primary communication tower erupted in brilliant explosions, sending debris spiraling into space. Across Earth's orbit, similar attacks were taking place simultaneously. Human ships struck with surgical precision, targeting command structures, sensor arrays, and communication systems, while avoiding damage to populated areas of the alien vessels. Ambassador Thylex's scales shifted rapidly through patterns of shock and rage as his fleet's communications network collapsed around him. What is happening? He demanded. Our sensors showed no hostile vessels in this system. Admiral Corex was frantically trying to coordinate a response, but with their command network down, the Corvani ships were operating independently, unable to mount an effective defense against the human attacks. Ambassador, we're detecting multiple unknown vessels throughout the system. Their technology appears to be significantly more advanced than our initial assessments indicated. Lisa Chen watched the first phase of the battle unfold with professional satisfaction. Human ships darted between the massive Corvani vessels like fighter aircraft engaging bombers, their superior speed and agility making them nearly impossible to target effectively. All units, excellent work, she transmitted to her fleet. Phase 2 is now in effect. Begin demonstration protocols. The second phase of humanity's response was designed not to destroy the Corvani fleet, but to convince them that Earth was far more dangerous than they had realized. Human ships began displaying capabilities that should have been impossible for a species that had never left its home system. The UES Phantom, under Commander Michael Torres, demonstrated instantaneous acceleration using propulsion systems based on recovered alien technology. The ship appeared to bend space around itself, covering impossible distances in seconds while the Corvani struggled to track its movements. Meanwhile, the heavy cruiser UES Thunderstorm unleashed weapons that manipulated gravity itself, creating distortions in space-time that caused several alien vessels to lose attitude control and begin spinning helplessly through their formations. On the Corvani flagship, Ambassador Thylex was beginning to understand that everything about his assessment of Earth had been wrong. These humans weren't a primitive species waiting to be conquered. They were a technologically advanced civilization that had been hiding its capabilities. Admiral Corex ordered a tactical withdrawal to beyond the orbit of their moon. We need to reassess this situation. But before the retreat order could be transmitted, Admiral Chen initiated the final phase of humanity's demonstration. Throughout the solar system, hidden facilities that had remained concealed for decades suddenly revealed themselves. Massive space stations emerged from behind asteroids, their hulls gleaming with weapons arrays that dwarfed anything the Corvani had brought to Earth. Manufacturing facilities that had been building ships in secret for 30 years powered up their defensive systems, showing the Empire that humanity's hidden strength extended far beyond a single fleet. The message was clear. Earth was not a helpless world waiting to be conquered. It was the home of a species that had spent generations preparing for this moment, building strength in secret, and developing capabilities that rivaled any galactic empire. Ambassador Thylex watched in stunned silence as human technology demonstrated abilities his species had taken millennia to develop. The tactical situation had reversed completely. Instead of a helpless planet begging for mercy, he was facing a civilization that had been preparing for war while pretending to be primitive. Communications, he ordered, his scales now showing. Patterns of grudging respect mixed with concern. Open a channel to the human leadership. It appears we need to renegotiate our terms. As the Corvani fleet began its withdrawal, moving to a safer distance from Earth, Admiral Chen allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The first test of humanity's secret preparations had been successful. The Empire would think twice before threatening any world again, not knowing which species might be hiding similar capabilities. But more importantly, humanity had proven something to itself. When pushed to the edge of extinction, humans didn't simply surrender or despair. They adapted, they prepared, they built strength in secret, and when the moment came, they fought with ingenuity and determination that surprised even their enemies. The silent fleet had done its job. Earth remained free, and the galaxy had learned a valuable lesson. Never underestimate a species willing to sacrifice everything to protect their home. The countdown timer reached 0, but instead of orbital bombardment, it marked the beginning of a new chapter in human history. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, but they had proven they belonged among the stars, not as subjects, but as equals.